relief workers and human rights defenders, hence the need to reconsider these policies and measures immediately. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, Houthi militias, with their ongoing terrorist attacks on international maritime navigation in the Red Sea and the surrounding waterways, prove that they represent a growing threat not only to Yemen, as some used to believe, but also to the stability of the region as a whole, and to the secure flow of international trade which exceeds trillions of dollars. Today, they are reinforcing their position as the first rebel group in history having used ballistic missiles and drones against civilian commercial vessels. Late last month, Houthi militias hit the Sonian tanker which was carrying 1 million barrels of crude oil, causing fires which could have led to one of the worst oil spills in history before the vessel was salvaged by the international coalition. This is not the first such incident caused by these militias. These militias boasted having sunk 2 vessels previously. They also hindered for years the efforts to save the decaying Safer tanker, which was carrying similar amounts of crude oil. It proves that their terrorist activities will remain an ongoing threat to maritime navigation. Ladies and gentlemen, for years, the Yemeni economy has been facing complex challenges, but the terrorist Houthi attacks on the oil facilities deepened the funding crisis and deprived the people and government of Yemen from necessary revenues to pay salaries and provide services. The economic war waged by these militias are part of a larger hostile strategy aiming at weakening the ability of the government to provide basic services and to pay public service salaries, thus aggravating the humanitarian crisis for more than 14 million Yemenis. Therefore, the international community should seriously consider the devastating effects of these terrorist acts and to provide the vital infrastructure to defend maritime transportation vessels in Yemeni ports, to support the right of the Yemenis and of the Yemeni government to benefit from their resources and improve their living conditions. Protecting the arteries of the Yemeni economy is necessary not only to recover and rebuild our future, but it is important also for the stability of the region and for the security of energy on the long term. Therefore, we reiterate our call to the international community to provide immediate comprehensive support to address the devastating humanitarian conditions and to lay the foundations for a long-term economic recovery. This should include not only immediate humanitarian assistance to alleviate sufferings, but it should also include accountability mechanisms, especially in the regions under the Houthi control. It also requires greater investments in infrastructure, healthcare, education, and sustainable development. It requires building the national capacities to curb the impacts of climate change, which has left hundreds of victims and displaced thousands within the last 2 months. Yemen's recovery is not only a national matter, it is a regional and international need. The stability of Yemen is decisive to safeguard peace and stability in the region and trade routes in the Arabian and Red Seas, as well as surrounding waterways, including the Suez Canal. We have appreciated international support in the past, and we will keep thanking you for shouldering your moral responsibilities. We also thank the coalition to restore legitimacy led by the KSA and the UAE to meet the aspirations of the Yemeni people to stability, peace, and prosperity, and provide the resources we need to rebuild our institutions and our social fabric. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the Arab region is facing today a challenging test in building the state and in joining the civilizational progress. However, every time the countries of the region achieve a true transformation towards development, peace, and prosperity, and towards empowering their people to exercise their political, economic, and social rights, they are met with evil forces which intervene with their destructive agendas, emboldened by the international leniency towards these rogue groups and their supporters. The outcome of this battle between the forces of peace and the axis of evil will determine who will survive, develop on this part of the world. It will determine whether the region will be dragged into more chaos, civil wars, hegemony, weapons, oppression, and underdevelopment. The road to peace goes through the forces of moderation in the region, led by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which has been defending the international resolutions and which extended a helping hand by hosting millions of those fleeing wars and armed conflicts. Therefore, we are grateful for these countries, and the world should depend on them to lay the foundations of peace and stability and to maximize our benefits from their economic and social development. Ladies and gentlemen, we should end the false rhetorics concerning the issue of Yemen, especially those minimizing the role of Iran and of their weapons and proxies in destabilizing Yemen, the region, and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the brutal Israeli war on the Palestinian people should cease immediately. This is the first step to achieve peace and to eliminate Iran's proxies, which are escalating the situation in the region. Iran has been manipulating the just Palestinian cause, and this did not come from a vacuum. It stems from a history of blackmailing and of propaganda, only leading to undermining the peace process and reversing the gains of the Palestinian people and their right to establish a fully sovereign independent state. The same holds true for Yemen, ending the plight. And as is the case for Yemen, ending the plight of the Palestinian people should be based on implementing the international resolutions, especially the Arab Peace Initiative. And as is the case for both Yemen and Palestine, the only way to deter the wanton Israeli aggression on Lebanon will be through a firm stance from the international community and through the unity of all the Lebanese and their independent decision and the non-interference in their internal affairs so that the Lebanese state can recover the choice of peace and war. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to recall that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights
Savoy